Hey guys, I'm Ismail Sheikh. Today we are going to learn blocking in SQL. So let's get started. So in this video, we are going to check what is blocking in SQL. We are going to check what are the different blocking scenarios. We will try to find blocking sessions using different DMVs. Also, we are going to check how we can monitor blocking sessions. And at last, we will check how we can troubleshoot blocking issues in SQL. So stay tuned. So, what is blocking in SQL? SQL Server blocking is an essential part of isolation requirement and it serves to lock the object affected by a transaction. So, let's say if there are two transactions, transaction 1 and transaction 2, and transaction 1 is trying to access table A at first, it will acquire a lock on that table, and that means the second transaction won't be able to access that particular table within that period of time. Once transaction 1 completes its query, then the transaction 2 will start and it will acquire a lock on table A. So this is how locks work. And when transaction 1 is trying to access this table, and let's say if it's running for a long time, the transaction 2 will be blocked for that period of time. So that's how blocking occurs. Generally, blocking is a normal thing in SQL, but when the execution time increases, it might lead to performance issue. Now let's check few blocking scenarios in SQL. So there are two scenarios where you can see the performance might get affected. So the first scenario is when the SPID holds a lock on a resource and it holds that lock for an extended period of time. That means that lock won't be released for a particular period of time and the execution time of that query will automatically increase. So it will affect the performance of that particular query. The second scenario is so when a resource acquires a lock on a particular transaction or a particular table, it it never releases it. So this type of blocking does not resolve itself. So we need to kill a transaction in this scenario. So we will check that in the practical part, how we can kill the transaction when lock is acquired and it's not releasing it. Uh, this type of block is severe and might cause issues to database and the application side as well. So issues like CPU pressure, issues like users not able to log in or freezing issues might occur due to this type of blocking. Now let's check how we can check the blocking sessions in SQL. There are different methods to check the blocking. The first one is by using a query. So there are different DMVs which are provided by SQL. You can use those DMV to find the blocking sessions. SP underscore WHO2 and SP underscore WHO will give you more information on blocking. Also, it will give you other information as well, which is not necessary, but there are different DMVs which can give you different kinds of information. So every DMV has its own purpose. So you can try all of them to get more information about the query. We will try to cover all of these DMVs in the practical part once we cover all these slides. The second method is using activity monitor. You can check which process is blocked and which process is getting affected and which SPID is present for that particular session. The third method is using performance monitoring tool. It will give you a live scenario, a live graphical visual of blocking or any other performance parameter. The last one is by running a report. You can run a report and get all the information about the blocking sessions. There are different options provided in SQL where you can check blocking and logs and other parameters. So this is a very important tool. We will cover this type as well in the practical part. Now let's move on to the next part. In this slide, we are going to check how we can troubleshoot the blocking issue. So first of all, we have to identify the main blocking session which is creating the issue. Then we are going to check what is holding locks for a prolonged period of time. Then we will try to analyze why the prolonged blocking is occurring, and then we will take necessary steps to resolve that blocking issues, either by killing that transaction or by checking why this query is a culprit and is there any issue with that particular query. Apart from this, you can also check the performance monitor and try to figure out which queries are the culprit and what is the time, and if there is any particular job which is creating any issue. So that's how you can troubleshoot. Also, there are different scenarios of blocking, but these are the main troubleshooting steps that you can take to resolve the blocking issue. Now let's move on to the practical part and check how we can use different queries to find the blocking. So this is SQL Server Management Studio. I have already created a country population database and I have a city table that I'm going to use to create blocking. First, I'm going to run this query in order to initiate a lock on city table. So I have used these logs on this table, and I have created a delay of 5 minutes, and also I have applied a rollback transaction just to make sure that a lock is applied on city table. So I'm going to execute this query, and as you can see, this query is getting executed. Now I'll try to run other query and try to access city table again. Let's select and execute it. Now you'll see this query is also getting executed. So these two queries are trying to access city table. That means transaction has been locked. Now let's check how we can find that transaction using a query. So a simple query sp underscore who2, I'll try to execute it, and once you execute it, so once you run this query, you will find the SPID 52, which is a suspended state, and the login name, host name, and you will see the SPID which is getting blocked by, and also you will find the database name, type of command, and other information like CPU time and last batch, program name, SPID, and requested ID. You can find same information using other queries. I'm going to use a different DMD. Let's use sys.dm exec request DMD, and I'm going to find the blocking session ID here. Okay. Now once we run this, you will find the blocking session again, and it will also give you a start time here, the status, the type of command, and the SQL handle, and other types of information here. Also, it will give you the wait type. If you want to find the wait type specifically, you can use a different DMD. You can use sys.dm os waiting task, and you can select these parameters so that you can just find these important parameters which are applicable to this DMD. I'll try to execute it, and you will find the session ID, wait duration, the lock type, and the blocking session ID. So that's how you can find blocking using different DMDs. So now you know the session ID which is getting blocked is 52. If you need more information about that particular session ID, what you can do, you can run dbcc input buffer and the session ID number, that's 52. After you run this, you will find the type of event which is running, that is language event, and the info type as well. So the query which is getting blocked is select start from city. Now let's run that earlier query again, and you are seeing that blocking session ID is 59. I'll try to execute the input buffer command again, and I'll see, you can see that the query which was running here, which caused the blocking, was the same, as you can see in this result. So that's how you can get more information about blocking and the blocking sessions using dbcc input buffer, and you can find blocking sessions using different DMVs. Now let's check how we can check the blocking sessions using activity monitor. So for that, I'll try to initiate the blocking session again. I'll try to run that command, and I'll try to access the same table using a different query. Now right click on the server and click on activity monitor. So a new window will be open, and you will see a processes session which will give you all the sessions, and it will give you types of sessions which are running, and the detailed information about the database, task state, command, wait time, and wait type, and also it will give you the session it's getting blocked by. For here, for this scenario, it's 59 which is getting blocked by. So that's how you can use activity monitor to find the blocking. Also, we can check the blocking using reports. So again, right click on server, click on reports and go to standard reports, and then click on activity all blocking transactions. So it will give you information about all the blocking sessions, as you can see here. Now you can see a detailed report here, the transaction ID, number, directly blocked transactions. So there is one transaction which is getting blocked, and also you can see the state, blocked transaction name, and different types of information. So this is a very helpful tool which you can use to find the blocking and run a report. Apart from this, you can also use performance monitor tool to find the blocking. Let's check how we can do that. Now let's check how we can check the blocking sessions using performance monitoring tool. So I'm going to add a counter on performance monitoring tool, which will help us to find the blocking. So this is the object which is MS SQL general statistics, and you have to select process blocked. Let's find it. Okay, process is blocked, and click on add, and then click on OK. Once you click on OK, you will see some blocking, but I'll zoom in. I'll increase the scale to 10. Now you can see there's one process which is getting blocked. As I've increased the scale to 10, it's at the bottom of your screen. So I'll create one more blocking session so that we can zoom into that part. I'll try to access the same table using a different query. Let's select district from city table. Select district from city, and I'll have to select the database, country population, and let's execute it. Now it's getting blocked, so you will see a spike here, and that spike tells you that there is a blocking here. And I'll create one more session just to give you an idea how you can monitor it.
I'll try to access other column now. Select name from city. I'll try execute it, and you will see one more spike. So that's how you can use performance monitoring tool to check the blocking. Now you are seeing a drop here. That means the transaction has completed and the blocking has been cleared. So you can see all the transactions are completed here. So that's how you can use different tools to check the blocking sessions on SQL Server Management Studio. Now let's check how we can kill the transaction and end the blocking. So first I'll initiate the blocking using the same query, and I'll try to access that same table using a different query. Now as the blocking has initiated, you will see the 74 SPID is blocking the second transaction. Now I'll try to kill that particular transaction using kill command, and I have to enter that SPID number, that's 74, which is causing the blocking. So 74, and I'll try to execute it, and once the transaction is completed, one of the transaction will be completed and the second transaction will be cancelled. As you can see here, 10 rows were affected. So that's how you can use different commands to check the blocking, different tools to check the blocking and monitor the blocking, and different DMVs which will help you to check different data for that transaction. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Let's Learn. If you have any kind of queries, please post that in the comment section, and you can also follow us on the Facebook page, that's www.facebook.com/letuslearnindia. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.